So, I bought this little thing. Just arrived. It's a, what does it describe it as? A car multimedia player. Now what do I want a car multimedia player for? Well, when I'm testing amplifiers, occasionally I like to stick a bit of music through them in the workshop. And up till now, I've been relying on this rather old and unreliable portable compact disc player, which has only got one disc in it, and I get a bit fed up with the same disc, and it means I have to go in the house and find another disc. So I thought, I was searching for ages trying to find what I wanted. I wanted a music player that would give me a line output and that I could shove a memory stick into it with music on. Preferably that it would play WMA files, because that's what I tend to use, because they're in theory less compressed than MP3. So this little memory stick, which came out of a previous radio in a previous car, which I've now sold, has got all my favourite music on it. And as I was saying, I could not find anything to do that job unless I went for something incredibly expensive that a DJ would use. And so I took a risk on this thing because it seemed to do what I wanted. I was a bit concerned how I would connect it up for a line output though. Sorry, phone. Okay, it's only a silly scammer, so I've ignored him. He can go away back to where he came from. So yeah, where was I before I was so rudely interrupted? Yeah, so I bought this thing and I was a bit worried about how I was going to connect it up to give an audio output. I was a bit worried also how I was going to power it and where I was going to put it, because I'm kind of running out of space in this workshop, but it might just go underneath there, if I can screw it underneath there somehow. Anyway, back to this thing. Yeah, because although this thing's got a line output, I would have assumed that would be a constant level, like most line outputs are, from the back of tuners or whatever. And I thought I'd have to try and connect into the speaker outputs, and it's got loads of speaker outputs. It's got left and right front, left and right rear, so there's no shortage of speaker outputs. But and that may cause trouble because connecting to those, because it almost certainly uses Class D amplifiers, and you cannot short one of those to earth, if you see what I mean. In other words, you couldn't take the two earths of the speaker output and join them together. So I was thinking I might have to build some sort of resistive network so they didn't get shorted together, and would that create noise on the signal, because all the switching noise of Class D. But to my surprise, having plugged this into the back of it, which goes to my main amplifier in my workshop, the actual audio output from the line output varies with the volume control, which is perfect. I'll demonstrate that in a minute. Only bloody annoying thing about this thing is every time you turn the volume it squeaks. It bleeps at you, which is incredibly annoying. And there doesn't seem to be a settings menu on this thing anyway. So let's just turn it on. And it will come up with the last track I was playing. Turn that down for a minute. See that horrible squeaking noise? I don't want it to bloody squeak every time I touch the volume. So it's now, took me about 5 minutes to work out how to use most of it. Didn't read the bloody manual apart from the connections, and of course it's got a radio in it, and it would also play video files, but I don't want any of that. And I quite like the display. It shows you what's playing at the moment on the off the disc, and you've got various things you can do down here, and I'm still not totally sure of what I'm doing, so I touch on that one. It's quite a nice touch screen display as well, and that gives me the list of tracks on that album, and I can go up and down with this bar. Oh, it's gone back. It only stays a while and then it goes back to the beginning, what's presently playing. Do that again, and now if I go to that down there, that's the folder option. Yeah, folder option. Doesn't want to do that. Why doesn't it want to do that? It's working earlier. Right, perhaps you have to press that arrow back. So now it's got a list of albums I've got on here. I can go down. I mean, this is not perfect, this way of doing it. I think you might be able to scroll up and down, I'm not sure. Yeah, you can. Scroll up and down. That's 5. Well, if I go back to that one. No, it doesn't do that. Okay, so it's still back in the mode where it was before in playing that track. If I go back to the beginning of the track, so I can slide it back using that. I think this one's copyright free, but I'm not 100% sure about this, so I'll just play a bit of it.
A war for gold, a war for money, and a war for souls. A war on terror, a war on drugs, a war on kindness, a war on hugs, a war on birds and a war on bees. They got a war on hippies trying to save the trees. A war with jets and a war with missiles, a war with high.
Oh, I wish I could make that bloody bleep go away. Ah, there must be a menu in here somewhere to get rid of that horrible bleep. I mean, it's got a clock display there, and I can't find a way of setting it either. Not that I'm bothered about a clock, but the audio quality sounds extremely good, to be honest. I can't really fault it, and it's got equalizers in there where you can set up the different bands across the spectrum, obviously, but I really want a flat output for when I'm, well, not necessarily. I might want to adjust the bass and treble, I suppose, when I'm testing an amplifier. And it's got this stupid multicoloured, whatever you call it, which is slightly annoying. I don't want silly colours changing all the time. But what else can I say about it? There's got to be a settings menu in it somewhere. I haven't found it yet. And when I press home, what does that do? It gives me a different type of display. Okay, so I can select radio, and it's got a card input as well for a memory card, so you can play off a memory card. Of course, it connects to your phone. It also comes with a tiny little camera, which you can stick on your outside of your car somewhere. But I can't see much point in using that in this application, unless I stuck it outside the workshop and I could see what was going on outside. No, I won't be using that. And what else we got? I think that's the equalizer function. Yeah, that's the equalizer function. So 31 Hz, 62, 125. All the way up to 16K. It's flat at the moment. and you can cycle through. I noticed pop and classics. Not sure I want that on a classic, but never mind. Jazz. None of this is all meaningless, but user 0 at the moment. I could set that up if I want to. So how do I get out of that? Just do that, maybe. Yeah. And what does that do? Oh, it goes to the radio. That's nice. And that goes back to the whatever. That's just song I just played. And of course you've got various touch buttons here for moving to the next track, or I suppose fast forwarding if I hold it down. No, it doesn't do fast forwarding as far as I can tell. It might do. I haven't discovered that yet. What else can I do with it? Just trying to find out a way of getting rid of that horrible bleep. No single. Oh well. AV in, I see. That's for the AV in socket. Telephone, of course, because it's got Bluetooth in it to connect to your phone in the car. That doesn't do anything. Mode, radio, FM. I think it's just got FM on it. I'm not bothered about that though. That's back to the what's his name again? The memory stick. So, and if you wanted to remember everything, of course, in a car you've got a battery backup. But what I'm going to have to do, if I don't want it to forget all its settings, I'm going to have to run it continuously on a 12 volt power supply. If I turn it off now, and we go up to the power supply, it's fairly heavy current consumption considering the thing's off. 13 volts, 300 milliamps. I guess there's no way around that. I have found a transformer that will do it, or a power supply. It's a bit big and ugly, but that'll do 12 volts, well 13.8 at 5 amps. Excuse me. And it does work, so I could hide that somewhere, and it would be useful to have it higher current supply on it, because then I could test speakers on this thing. Don't know what a power output is. I'll just go and check on the box and see what it's. No, there's nothing on the box about power output. They're normally only too happy to say it does 500 watts a channel, or whatever ridiculous number they can come up with. But I looked on the original eBay listing, and it's listed at 50 watts times 4 channels. So I think that's probably not unreasonable if it's using Class D. It probably might do something like that. It's fairly warm there. Not that that's a problem in my workshop. And it's quite nice and small as well. Doesn't go back too far, which is helpful when I'm running out of space in the workshop. And it comes with this piece of slidey metal which you can attach to something in your car, which it slides into. Obviously I might be able to utilise that to screw it to something. So all in all, for the price, oh yeah, getting down to the price, £33 for this. And I think I'd be quite happy to use something like this in a car if I didn't have one built in, because it seems reasonably good quality. apart from that annoying bleep. £33 though. How do they do it for that price? I mean, going back like 35 years ago, I had a Renault 5 and I wanted to put a decent radio in it, and I bought a Kenwood with a digital frequency readout on FM and cassette player combined. That was £169 back in those days. So, but you know, the quality was better than something like this, obviously. But so now I've got to go about fitting it to where I want to put it. So I'll get on and do that. Okay, so that's where I've got it mounted. I think it's quite a good place for it. Doesn't impede the spectrum analyzer. Sits nicely under there, out of the way. It's a bit flimsy, moves around a bit, but in practice it's a touch screen, so you're not going to be putting too much pressure on anything when you're using it. So I just got to think about the other wiring. I think what I'm going to try and do is to the right of here, I might have some phono sockets connected to the output from the back, and maybe some speaker terminals so I can test loudspeakers on it. So I've got to see if I can find the necessary parts to do that. Right, so it's all installed. Double phono socket, just all I had. Came out of some scrap amplifier, and so they're just paralleled up left and right. And I've just got that chocolate block for the moment for speaker outputs. And if I look around the corner under here, there it is. That's the power supply for it. And I got a neck ache this morning because I did that last night, and I was sort of squashed into this small space down here. I pulled this heater out to get in there, and the floor is absolutely covered with dead wood lice. I mean, where do they come from? Why do they come to my workshop to die in? But anyway, enough of that. I just pray a bit more of this. And oh yeah, I was looking at the instruction manual, if you can call it that, and it's virtually useless. It says nothing whatsoever about how to set the clock or how to get rid of the bleep. I thought maybe the clock would set itself if I set it onto radio mode and put it on the BBC, and maybe it would pick up the RDS information, but no, it wouldn't do that. So how you set the clock I do not know, but one thing is quite amusing. I don't know if you can see this. Please check the speaker line carefully before installation. For any grounding or touching, please connection again. Otherwise the unit will be burned. In other words, it's going to burst into flames. Oh well. Anyway, specifications are interesting. They've got no mention of power output. 65 dB signal to noise. 20 to 20 kilohertz. 4 to 8 ohms. This is interesting. Tone control. Bass plus or minus 7 dB, 100 Hz. Fine. Treble plus or minus 7 dB, 100 Hz. I think not. Okay, just before I go, I'll just play a bit of this track. Oh no. Right. Can't play much of that because it's bound to be copyrighted. So that was Curved Air, Backstreet Love from I think about 1971, and it sounds pretty good through these big speakers. These are some Sansui I was given, and they really are quite decent speakers. Big 15-inch bass units, nice horn tweeter. Anyway, that's beside the point. This is the end of the video, so I hope you liked it, and thanks for watching, and bye for now.